So now we're ready to decorate the inside cover. So I hope you've chosen your papers and cut them all out. And here's all of my little bits. You need 2 magnets if you're going to add a magnetic closure onto this page. Those are little 1mm by 8mm craft magnets. And ink the edges of your papers. So this is my top piece of paper. This page is quite good because you can use one sheet of 8x8 to cut the top piece, which is 3 inches deep, and then have enough, if you flip the paper over, to decorate that bottom section as well. So I thought we'd go for hens on this page, and so we've got the chicken wire fence, which was on the other side of all of those gorgeous chickens. And then just to brighten it up, I went for a yellow paper across the middle that's going to sit on the front of that flap. So let's turn over, which is exactly why, although I do quite like that side now, but I've drawn lines on it. So we'll go with the plain. Inky around the edges. And then we're ready to stick those 3 pieces of paper into the album. So I'm going to start with this border piece. Just smooth the glue out. And stick it in place. I've angle cut the corners just to match the angle cut corners on my little flap. Press it down nice and smoothly. And then let's stick the paper down underneath. It's such a shame to hide these lovely chickens, but we have got them at the top. So if you're having fun following along, do share what you've made on our Facebook page. You'll find the link below. We'd love to see your finished projects. Smooth that out. And then I'm going to centre it and line it up just above the bottom edge of that black pocket. And then stick it in place. Let's get the bone folder and smooth it out. And then once this piece of paper is in place, you can stick this flap down. So what you want to do is take the tape off, the backing off that long strip of tape and the 2 ends. It's not happening. Get my little pokey tool. And then hold those under and press the middle down first. And that just keeps it nice and flat across your page. I know on the camera this paper looks really bright, but actually it isn't. It's darker. I think the light is shining on it in a funny way. And now we can stick the piece of paper down at the very top. And because we use tabs on the pocket to stick it down, this piece of paper will just slide in really nicely under the sides of the pocket. So it's going over the tab that is that side, over the tab that is this side. Once you've got those bottom ends in, then you can just jiggle your paper around and slide it down. And then I'm just wanting a nice line, straight line at the top. I'm just going to pull it over a little bit. And a nice even border at the side. And when you're happy with where your paper's sitting, then stick it down. Lovely. So there it is. That is the basic page structure done. Now let's make the pop out or the fold out. So bring in your pieces for your little fold out pocket. If you're using paper, you just cut your 3 pieces of 3x4. If you're using ephemera cards, you need 1 ephemera card and 2 3x4 pieces, and then a little piece for the end here, which I'm going to come back and cut later on when I've got more cut pieces to choose from. So what I've done is folded all of the score lines, rounded all of the corners with my 1/8 corner punch, and then we can stick these inside pieces in place. A little bit of glue. How nice is that on the other side? Oh, I'm in a dilemma now. I didn't know they were on there. No, I'm going to go with the red. So, a little bit of glue. Smooth it on down. And stick it in place. Inky the edges. Stick it in place. Just a little bit of glue. There's really hardly any glue on there, but it is enough to hold it down. And then line that one up. Just stick it in place, and then do the same with your card or paper for the front. A little bit of glue. Smooth it down, especially into the corners. And then upside down. So easily done. And stick it in place. And then you've got a choice. You can, this little flap here needs to be sealed or stuck down. So you can either, if you've got our signature black construction tape, you can use that to join the pocket, and you just take a piece about 1 inch long and just fold it over the edge like that. The back's going to be stuck down, so just folding that and sealing it won't get seen. Or if you haven't got our tape, make a little hinge. It just needs to be slightly shorter than the length of that pocket, so 1 3/8 as opposed to 1 1/2. Put double-sided tape on the inside, either side of that fold line, and then just sandwich it. So line up the top and then press down underneath, and that seals your little pocket from the outside, and then you've got the full depth to put something into that pocket under there. So that is the little section, but we want to add a sort of a floating magnet. So that's the reason why we've got this 1/8 little raised section this side. So this can go straight into place. So take your tape off the back, or put tape on if you haven't already, all the way round the sides and the bottom. It's just, I'll put a little bit of glue under there, that's the little tab. Then turn round. Just a little bit of glue there. And then I just want to, I'm not going to centre it, I'm just going to put it to one side. Like that. And then you can leave it like that, so it's just a little flap if you wanted to. You could use a paper clip to hold it closed. Let's just see if I've got one. And just slide a paper clip. Because we've made a pocket, that paper clip will go underneath that back section. Or you can add a magnetic closure. And to add the magnetic closures, let's just get a couple of magnets. This is how I make them. They're sort of raised, so that allows you to put something into this pocket and the magnets still work. So you need 2 punches. One is a 3/8 circle and one is a 3/4 circle. And you punch out 4 full circles. And then from a scrap of card, you want to make some eyelets. So you take the smaller punch, let's make 4, punch out your small holes, and then take your larger punch, centre it over the hole, and punch, and catch them as they fly off. I don't know where they're going. Let's do that. Caught it. These little holes are going to get hidden, so if you're not completely centred over the first hole, it doesn't matter. And then you take a little bit of glue and you stick 3 of these washers together. You don't need a lot of glue. You can pick them up with your glue. So just layer and stick 3 together. And that's deep enough for your magnet to sit in. And then just make sure that all of the edges are together. And then stick 1 solid black circle onto the front. Turn over, drop your magnet in. Let's grab mine. And then stick the second black circle on the top. And that sandwiches the magnet into that little button. And then you stick that one half on, half off that little pocket there. Now, if you find it's raised up, so you've stuck it onto the pocket, but you've got a space underneath, cut 1 circle, solid circle, in half. I'd cut it rather than fold it. Stick the 2 halves together. So it is a bit fiddly, but all doable. And then stick that half under your magnetic button. So now when you come to stick that in place, you butt the edge of your half circles up against the edge of the card, and that little button sits nice and flat. So now we can stick this in place. So glue on the back. Now you want to have your paper on here before you stick this into place. So let me just find a piece of paper and then we can do the whole of this. Right, so I've got my plaid paper piece. Stick it in place. And now we can stick the button on. So let's put a little bit more glue on here. And just slide it into place and centre it between top and bottom edges. And then we'll come back and put a paper circle on that. So now we want to add the button to the top. So we are going to make another little sandwich. So one flat circle, layer up 3 rings, two, 3. Make sure that all of the edges are level. Add your magnet to the middle and stick the top on. So it doesn't matter which way your magnets are going, because we'll do a test to make sure it's all stuck together. Let's just attach my magnets back to my scissors and then I know where they are. So all you do is just let that magnet drop over the first one and it will automatically attract the right way, and then you just stick it in place. But you're only sticking it half on, half off. This edge here. So you just want to make sure that the 2 circles are sitting over the top of each other, or the 2 buttons, and then just leave it to dry. And once it's dry, you can add your paper circle on that side, paper circle there, and paper circle here. I normally come back and do that, punching out from leftover papers. And then photo mats for in here. So to make the photo mat, cut your acetate and your card, and we'll start with the card. You want to put a strip of double-sided tape just along one long edge of the card. Trim at the end, and then bring your acetate in, position it over the top of your card, hold it in place and just remove the backing strip off the double-sided tape. So just make sure that your card and the acetate are together, and then take that tape off. And then you've got your nice acetate pocket that you can pop your pictures inside. And it's a great way of being able to change out your photos without having to stick them in and then you can't remove them. And then take your paper strip, your 5/8 of an inch by 6 1/8 paper strip, put glue on it, but make sure that the glue is completely absorbed into the paper and can't ooze out onto the acetate. So you really do want to smooth it out. And when you've done that, then you line your paper up with the top edge of the card and stick it into place. So your photo mat has always got a little bit of detail on it, but you can change out your picture at any time. And the static in the acetate will hold that picture in place. And that is the photo mat that goes in that pocket. And you'll see I've put one of the little ATC tags in here. I thought that would make a nice detail. And actually I might add a paper clip on there as well. Links to all the products that I use are down below. So that is how you put the inside cover together, and also the back cover. So decorate your back cover with your choice of papers in exactly the same way, turning this round, so when you put this on you want to have the pocket facing or nearest to the spine. Actually it doesn't matter, but if you want them to be opposites, then it would go here on the back. So have fun doing that.